crimes out loud, or screaming at meetings, or lying to the public about the election. Those things don't cut it and are typically legal. If there is overwhelming evidence of a conspiracy, however, hatched and pursued at the highest levels of the government, then prosecutors have a duty to prosecute the conspirators and their leader. So, the United States, as a nation and government, is facing a test. It can assess the evidence that Trump led this conspiracy or turn away. It can reach conclusions and confront them in public to redress an authoritarian, anarchic attack on democracy with the best attempt at truth and justice. Or it can devolve into a muddle of competing claims. What happened? The government has led much of the fact-finding about the insurrection. When federal officials began this process, in those first days after the attack, they began with some mistakes. The government's task is much broader than determining accountability for what happened on one day. Yet the insurrection was initially viewed, by both its opponents and its soft allies in the Republican Party, as largely a single-day event, a one-day attack. The conventional premise was that this was a gathering where insurrectionists went to a rally in the morning, then marched and stormed the Capitol in the afternoon, violently attacking police, obstructing the vote counting, and searching for lawmakers to murder, with the perpetrators mostly home by nightfall. This was also the initial view of the Democratic Congress. The news moves fast. It may be easy to forget now that Congress impeached then-President Trump for one thing. Quote, incitement of insurrection on January 6th. To be fair, that impeachment trial did serve several functions. It swiftly laid down a marker against the attack, compelled Congress to go on record, made Trump the only twice impeached president in history, and secured the most bipartisan coalition to convict a president in the last century. The trial's entire thrust, however, was stuck in a flawed framework of limiting its perspective to events that unfolded on a single day. The Senate jurors were basically asked, legally, did Trump's speech that morning incite the attack in the afternoon? As one Democratic impeachment manager summarized the case in the pivotal closing argument, when Trump, quote, took the stage on January 6th, he knew exactly how combustible the situation was, with the crowd ready to engage in violence, and he aimed them straight here. The summation literally boiled down to convict Trump because he went on stage, gave a speech, and exhorted people to storm the Capitol. Less than 2 years later, that prosecutorial argument is so cramped, it almost sounds like someone downplaying Trump's actions and guilt. The 2021 article of impeachment did not mention, let alone charge, plots for elector fraud, state election meddling, military intervention, DOJ interference, seizing voting machines, or the long-running lies that recruited so many people to travel to Washington. During the impeachment and Senate debate, it often seemed like Trump was on trial for a speech. The law makes it hard to pin an insurrection on one speech, as it should. True freedom of speech sets a very high bar for convicting any politician, in the Senate or in court, for words in a speech. The attack. The Congress of January 2021, which impeached Trump, was not very different from the Congress of July 2021, which formed a select committee to investigate. The House created this special committee, quote, to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol, as its authorizing resolution states. The conception, goals, and very name are about January 6th. The authorizing resolution states the probe has three purposes. Quote, investigate the January 6th terrorist attack. Quote, evaluate evidence from the government about the terrorist attack. And, quote, build on any other investigations while avoiding unnecessary duplication. In other words, investigate what went down that day. That assignment quickly proved too narrow, however, for the range of plots and crimes revealed, and sometimes confessed, in the ensuing months. It would be like trying to investigate state-sponsored racism in the Jim Crow era.